Hello, welcome to Team Fortress TV. We've got a double header for you tonight featuring the Yomies. They're coming up against Ascent first of all on Granary, and then they're going to be going up against 20B later on Badlands. So that's going to be a blinder tonight. And we're covering some ESEA Season 19 action, but neither of us are playing in ESEA this season, are we, Yuki?
Oh man, I'm a pleb stuck over in Oz Fortress land.
Yeah, and I'm
this
stuck
should
in
definitely be a good bunch of games tonight.
The old free leagues of Europe over here. We don't have any prize pools the size of this. This is we're looking in green with envy on the real scene that carries Team Fortress to some level of professionalism. What are your feelings on the games tonight?
I think this one should actually be decently close. I mean, just looking at the players on the Yomies roster from memory, I mean, I haven't seen them play recently, but from what I remember, CJ is actually a really good soldier, and I've heard he's actually been running the gunboats a bit more, so giving a little bit more of the heals towards his demomen and scouts, which will be really good for his team in these skirmishy kind of fights. Whereas, you know, Ascent are very experienced, but looks like we're actually going live, so I don't even get time to have a little rant.
Yeah, good lord, they're already going. This is prompt. It's Ascent in the blue and Yomies in the red. I don't even know whether we've got time to look down these rosters, but they're going to be flying past your screens fairly soon. The match is live, and we're off to our first middle, CP Granary. This first matchup between Ascent and the Yomies. Who are you watching to mid, Yuki?
I'm gonna see good old Podolski. He's the anchor of his team. I like, just like, you know, he's the crux, the stronger player on the team. Going towards the bottom left, just normal stickies. But Yomi's no one going anywhere near that bottom right Meki right now. Jeremy opting for the lower garage rollout. Melee jumping in fast, getting some early pressure there. But Jeremy is the one to die the first blood. Shoga getting a kill on CJ as well. So 3 bodies down now for Yomis is a disastrous rollout for them. They're lucky to get their medic out though. So, you know, Granary being notorious for getting rolled on mid, you lose last, but Yomies don't get rolled, they only lose the midpoint.
Yeah, I could definitely see what the Yomies were going for there. They launched in Rekuzo and tried to distract as he looped back to take some more heals and going for a counter bomb after CJ had jumped in. Both of them running the gunboat, so they had that flexibility, but it didn't quite work for them. It didn't turn enough heads at the beginning, and Ascent were all set up to repel those jumps. And yeah, 404 saw it, and he managed to get out, so it's an Uber Uber on last. They're going to be going up against Free State on Sniper, who sat back on that huge sightline down the left-hand side. Rekuso picks up the frag on Marblr, who is trying to wiggle away from him with the escape plan, but they've got the return frag on Rekuso, so things stabilizing again. But CJ's going to open the door there for Free State to try and pop somebody's head off. Podolski's just playing with fire there, poking his head in the way, but unfortunately the shot whiffed.
The sniper swap now coming out for Decimate, so looks like Ascent are just content to slow the game down and try and, you know, get a pick and open them up for this last push. Getting the headshot on the pocket, very good pick there. It's probably going to prompt Ascent to push momentarily. They've got plenty of time to get buffs before they go though. I wonder which side they'll opt to, you know, enter.
Yeah, they're going in now for the Uber trade. Rando almost getting dropped there, but he just gets the tiny flash of Ringo finishing him off, and they managed to pick off the frag on Fragile as well. This is looking like a bit of a car crash of a push here coming out from Ascent, and it'll give Yomies the opportunity to push back out with Decimate on Sniper as well, unless he hits a shot. Oh my god, there we go. Ringo down. Decimate manages to pick him up as he rushes him, but that means that he's still on the field as Sniper, and he's going to have to try and make this work as his team engage in a fight. Marblr's in onto Jeremy, picks off the Demoman from Yomies there, and he's back out into Lunchbox. They're going to have to deal with him before they push forward.
That was a pretty good retake by Yomies, just a solid counter Uber, just delaying long enough, and Ascent got destroyed. But unfortunately, Rekuzo just let that roam. He knew that roamer was in the stairs, and he kind of just let him go free and got the pick on the demo man. That was a bit of a misplay by him, but fortunately for Yomies, they're still able to take the yard, and Ascent is still sticking with this sniper because he hasn't died yet, so a bit of an odd situation for Ascent, as Yomies actually have Uber advantage pushing into mid soon.
Yeah, Decimate is really, the pressure's on him to hit something here because he's if he isn't able to make the frag spin, then he's going to be a bit of a pain. And Fragile on 10 HP manages to get out there as CJ couldn't quite finish off the frag. If they carry on pushing forwards, everyone was so weak there just to dodge that Uber charge. But now the Fragile has his Uber up, they're going to look to want to push back in here, but I don't know whether they are better off waiting for some kind of pick from Decimate. I mean, they're one down at the moment, they don't have their pocket in it. By the time they get into position, oh, there, Decimate hits the shot onto Rakuso, and as he backs off to take some health, he might have made a bit of space for the rest of Ascent to bomb in. They do have that big Ubercharge advantage, 50% as they move through the ramp room. They look like they want to take this top, but a big sticky trap. Shrugger and Decimate down, Marblr as well, Jeremy going huge.
That was a bit of a disaster there. I mean, just, you have Uber advantage, but it's really hard to push with the sniper, even if he's really competent. It's just, you know, you're down that one scout who can't be on the flank, or he can't just float around the combo. You just got a sniper who's just, you know, trying to pop heads off. And Ascent, you know, 3 players down. They're still trying to contest this second point. They do have Uber. Nice pick on free stay there by Rando. He's looking really keen here, but Yomies are behind. Uber is pop. They're getting in for that counter pop. They don't get any kills. Actually, they do catch Marblr, but Badonsky very low health, not actually able to enter into this fight. So, pretty good positioning for Yomies if they want to get in here momentarily.
Rakusa's all the way behind as well, just almost at the enemy rocket room there, and Ascent managed to pick him off. But he's made a bit of room for his team to pick off the point that gives them the super forward spawns. And if they can, no, they're not going to be able to hang on to the point for any of those forward spawns that come in. The Yomies drop 3 and Ascent smell blood. They're rushing in now. They want to take mid off them before they get that Demoman spawn, and Jeremy can do the same thing as he did previously to stunt the push. Decimate's going to make some room up top, just push CJ back a little bit as Rando jumps in as well, but Badonsky being pressured by Free State comes forward. That's a crucial pick, that'll slow them down a little bit as Rekuso goes in again onto the Fragile goes down. This is heal advantage and big Uber advantage in favor of Forifar, and Marblr is just getting punished here as he tries to make something happen.
Yeah, it's just absolute punishment by, just solid play by Yomies, just going in there one after the other, just coordinated aggression to, you know, get the pick on the demo man and then get the pick on the medic straight after. It's really good coordination of the team. They know this soldier is behind them. I think they know this other player's behind them as well, but they're not really too concerned about it. Shrugger is actually all the way in Red's drop down, now coming towards mid. He's going to try and coordinate something with Rando. Rando jumping in, going to try and get a couple of rockets on the scout, but doesn't succeed. And Shrugger is behind as well. He's going to probably go down momentarily, or they should just ignore him. I mean, they have 3 players down essentially with that scout not in right now.
And a huge Uber advantage as well. They've got a 60% advantage here as they come into last times 5 on the point. Nothing's going to deny Yomies, and that's a bit of an upset. The first round going in favor of the Yomies against Ascent. I don't think we really talked about it just before the game. We didn't have any time, but what were your predictions going into this? Ascent, the favorites?
I was going to say this would be a close game. I was going to just say Yomies, because why not? Because CJ is pretty damn good. So I'll say 540 Yomies, but I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. So far, I'm 1 point in, boys. Getting there. Progress.
Absolutely. Badonsky's actually flying in with the loose cannon, trying to get damage onto Jeremy. Hits a direct, and Jeremy only on 55 can't tank the 60 damage and goes down. Wow. Not very often that you see people shooting loose cannon across Granary mid in order to get damage onto the Demo Man, and the Yomies have no answer for that. Rekuso gonna go in, try and see if he can get onto the Fragile, but that's not gonna happen. And the Yomies lose 3 and are forced to back all the way back to last. Marblr hunting down, picking up the front.
Rollout as the last round. You know, Yomies lost 3 players and then they keep their medic alive, so there's still opportunity for them to defend this last point. But that's Roma died actually quite late, so there is a small window for Ascent to push in, but I don't think it would be wise. They're probably just gonna, you know, opt for a suicide or 2 again and go for that sniper, or even just, you know, a multi-pronged suicide and try and get an Uber force. But Marblr just peeking up through this top right now, just getting a bit of a spam. The teams are just kind of sussing each other out, nothing else really happening just yet.
Yeah, no
utilities on Yomi's side. Yeah.
Actually, Free State going back into spawn there. He's going to be running the sniper on the right hand side, absolutely. The sniper, though, on Granary is just such a low risk and high reward class to run. I feel like it's a complete no-brainer the way that they're running it at the moment. It's become a bit of a default.
Sidelines are so long, it's so easy for you to, you know, just get those either the body shots or even headshots off, of course, as well, and just, you can completely stun a push, and even if you don't get damage on someone, if the other team decides to pop early, that's, you know, a win in itself. And if like a soldier rockets jumps, you can body shot him. And wow, the soldier just comes in from top and trades with the sniper. Not exactly the best trade, but you know, trade's a trade. And I wonder if Ascent are gonna try and peek here, because with that sniper down, that means there's no requirement for you to early pop, and you can just walk out. But looks like they're gonna just wait a bit.
I feel like that was really their opportunity to try and slow push it in through that left-hand side from their perspective and get a bit of room, but instead they've gone for this sniper v sniper battle that we see now. It worked out for them previously. They managed to get the pick onto CJ, who's still holding the door open there for Free State, as he was in the previous round. They did beef the push a little bit last time though, so I don't think the Yomies really too concerned about it. They really just kind of want to bait Ascent into pushing into them, and then they have the defender's advantage. Ringo takes so much damage there from Badonsky, and then Shrugger finishes him off. So there's a pick if they want to push off it. There's still the threat of the sniper, but it looks like Rando is going to move through that right hand side, takes the Uber from the Fragile, but this isn't looking good for them. He's been juggled all over the place. 404 with the counter Uber now, but CJ wants to push it through the left hand side. Are they going to clump up here, Ascent, and get picked off? The Fragile gets juggled up, but in the meantime Rando is going aggressive onto 404, so both of the heals down. This is looking a little bit sloppy here, but Yomies have the player advantage. Badonsky and Decimate the only ones left alive. Are we going to see the same situation again? Yuki of Decimate just staying alive on Sniper forever.
Yeah, that was a really good Uber by CJ. He just went in from the opposite side, caught the medic off guard, and his medic died at the same time, sure, but he just forced Ascent to just be clumped up in a crappy position, and the rest of his team were able to collapse and capitalize on their poor positioning, and now we got an even Uber situation. I don't see any crits Kriegs at all, no. Both normal mediguns, very even Ubers. They should be able to retake the yard, Yomies, that is, and we'll just have, that same situation we had earlier. Actually, no, the situation earlier was Uber advantage to Yomies, but there's still that sniper, as you were saying on Decimate, but no, he actually got the class swap off. I wonder if he just ran all the way to the respawn.
He actually died. He was trying to get the frag onto Jeremy, but Jeremy managed to pick him off with a long range sticky just while they were battling on the second there. So Decimate goes in aggressively to try and get a pick off. Does die, but that really doesn't hurt their team so badly. I'm watching Ascent move in through this left hand side now, but Rakuso's getting trying to get some damage out. CJ's so weak as well, but they've managed to pick up Badonsky and Decimate, and they're getting so much damage from Jeremy onto Rando as well, and the Fragile with such a bad pop there. That's really quite poor from the Fragile, dropping his pocket and the rest of his team as they try not to use the Uber charge. You can see the game plan, but it all just fell away from them. The Yomies read exactly what they were going to do and just made sure that they couldn't move in through that left hand side. It's such a popular push, just trying to push it through without forcing your Uber charge, but Ascent not quite able to pull it off that time.
Yeah, he's actually playing really disciplined, and really coordinated too. You just see Rakuso was in that position, he did so much damage to the drop down. That was poor by Ascent to not check that, and then followed up with more spam by his pocket and Demo Man after he died, and then the scouts. Just very well coordinated play. As CJ pushing it through this low lefty, he's getting in towards the last point already. I really like this, because Ascent are not set up to defend yet.
Melee's
They're all
coming
clumsy
behind
on this right side.
Oh, Melee wasn't able to block the point. I thought Melee was going to be able to get that, so now the Yomi is going to be able to push into last, but they're kind of all split up. If Rando and Decimate can get some good damage here onto the combo, they might be in a decent position to defend, but Freeset slunk on the point. Manages to get it. 22 health there. Just 12 health even lower than I thought, but it's 2-0 really to Yomies.
That was really well played how CJ just Ubered into them. They were all bunched up on the right side. He kept them there, and they traded pretty evenly with frags, which is fine, and meanwhile the scout just came in from the side for free and just capped the point. Just once again another solidly executed push by Yomies, and that brings them to 2-0 in this game.
Yeah, I want to see what the soldiers from Yomies are going to be doing on this mid fight. Badonsky and Jeremy again trading blows across the mid, but Free State and Melee are going to be fighting in that ramp room. It's actually the scouts to get the better of Melee there, and a big bomb in from Rakuso, not able to pick anything up, but he's bunched the whole of Ascent into that corner. Rando's really weak as well. If only they had somebody alive to compound the damage, but Ascent are going to be able to get out of that corner with their heals and bully Yomi's back. They just lost both of their soldiers and they had nobody to really follow up on it.
I think Yomi's actually could have fought that. They just completely backpedaled when they were actually quite healthy, and Jeremy did some really good pipes on Ascent to just, shove them further into that corner. Badonsky, rather, getting caught out here, does take down Free State with the help of Rando. And there's going to be a player advantage in favor of Ascent, which is, you know, not real because their one player isn't there. But Rakuzo, once again with the drop-down play, forcing the Uber there, just Ascent just not respecting that play at all. Getting them twice in a row.
And now Yomies are in the sticky position of using their Uber effectively. 404 dropped down to about 10 health there, but it has been popped out. And now the counter coming in from Ascent. They've baited them into yard, and now they close the trap. They go in and pick off all of the heavy classes there, bar one, and now they need to deal with the scouts. Free State and Ringo linking up so well there to deny some of the aggression, but it's not going to work out for them in the end. Only 2 players left alive, Rakuso and 404 backing off to the point. They need to defend it for another few seconds while CJ and Jeremy get the spawns, but Rando and Fragile already playing for the point. I'm not sure which way this is going to go. In the end, Ascent able to pick off the round there.
That's quite close considering how Ascent were just, you know, tunneling frags. They weren't exactly, you know, committing to the point. Only just as Rando came in late were they able to cap that. And the spawns are coming for Yomies quite quickly, but a round win for Ascent finally putting them on the board. So it's now 2-1 in favor of Yomies. Ascent looking to bounce back after that, you know, miserable first half of this half.
Absolutely, it was Marblr with the aggression last time. Let's see if he chooses to instigate again. Jeremy instead choosing for this top, and Marblr straight onto him. 2 great rocks to take him down. Rakuso not finding anything with his bomb. CJ getting taken down as well, and this is powerful here for Ascent. They're going to be backing Yomies all the way to their second. Free State and Ringo going to be trying to shepherd 404 out of here with his Uber charge, but Free State has actually moved behind, and everyone from Ascent knows that he's somewhere behind. They just can't quite find where. They haven't detected him yet, but now they find him, and Free State surely going to be a fairly easy pick that Ascent can then use to push into last here, Yuki.
Yeah, I think the thing on that rollout was CJ actually failed, I think, 2 or 3 rocket jumps in a row, which, you know, calls him to do absolutely nothing in the rollout. But hold that thought, as Ascent come in with the early pop, forced the counter Uber very late, but Rando is bunching up these players very nicely, but that gives Yomies good time to collapse on him, and Fragile dies to that delayed sticky trap by Jeremy. Jeremy also with a kill on Rando, so the combo down for Ascent. All Yomies need to do is just take their time, heal up, and they should be able to easily retake this. But they need to be careful this flank. Scout coming up top is Decimate. On 50 health though, does get destroyed. Marblr is still behind, so I wonder if they know. The Scout finds him. Does get taken down unfortunately, but Marblr does escape through drop down. But the successful retake, which is what Yomies were hoping for, and with a nice Uber advantage.
And both of the soldiers so weak here for Ascent. Jeremy is trying to pile on the damage, maybe find a frag, but doesn't quite manage to find anybody there. And they're tentative to push out into yard. I think they're wondering why Ascent isn't closing the noose a little bit and just denying them a bit more ground, but they're happy to move out, take the yard from them for free. And with the slight Uber advantage that they have at the moment, 20%, I'm not really expecting them to push, but we might see some aggression.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely.
A very slight Uber advantage. So they're peeking through this garage. They actually pop through the top catwalk, but no blood spilled whatsoever. Zuba is going to get popped by a Fragile counter. And this medic is definitely going to die. Rando absolutely destroys him.
That was so
These
nice by
players
Rando.
need to just try and get in, maybe see if they can kill the Fragile. Scout is on him, does get him to 30 health, but no one else following up because they're way too low on health. So unfortunate for Yomies, that nice counter from Ascent just coming in the last second, absolutely decimate Yomies there.
It's often it's often talked about the fact that people push off these small advantages, and it's often talked about as a great thing, but when you don't have enough time to get onto the enemy team or even cap off the point before the counter Uber is going to come in, it can often put you in a bit of a sticky position, and that's what Yomies found themselves in there. With only the 20% on Granary, possibly an unwise decision to move in off that, but they're just content to sit back on their last right now. Free State running that heavy weapons guy, and they're going to be waiting for the push in from Ascent. They've got 40%, yeah, about a 40% disadvantage here, but if 404 can just sit at the back at the moment and tank some heals onto Free State and allow him to soak up the aggression, he might be able to get the Uber charge. 85%, they need to delay it for another 5-7 seconds, something like that. CJ taking a bit of the spam, but they need to get on this point. Shrugger's just capping it off, and they're not going to be able to get the Uber charge. 404 pops it at the last second, but they're nowhere near the point, and it's 2-2 already. It was looking so great for Yomies, but Ascent have come straight back in for a Yuki.
It's great if you have a heavy, you can just, you know, run back to the spawn and not die, but you're still essentially losing that player, so you're better off just, you know, sacking that heavy and just him running around like an idiot. But that strategy didn't work out well for Yomies, and yeah, now it's, as you were saying, it's an even game, 2-all. And you're gonna see what Yomi's doing this rollout to, you know, try and win, as Yomi getting absolutely destroyed by this pistol. He's on 15 health, has to drop to the pack, and getting some stickies in his face as well. But Lakuzo finally with the first pick does also die though. But Ascent look like they're nice and bunched up, very blobbed, getting a lot of heals, and they're just taking positioning off Yomi's right now. Yomi getting taken down with some little pot shots, and Yomi's though are committed with this rollout. They can't get their medic out in this position, and the Podolski is coming for the flank.
Oh, Podolski is just going to clean them up right there. That's actually a nice play from Free State, to be honest, to get the Uber out of the Fragile. The Fragile possibly with a bit of a poor pop there. He was on about 120 health, getting pressured by his scout. Maybe a bit weak. He possibly should have trusted in his team a little more to deal with Free State, but at the end of the day, it's a free Uber to move forwards. All it means is they won't have that advantage to push last with. But they're going to be able to get second for free after this. And, oh, Yomi, looking like they actually want to pressure this. They want to move forward. They know that the Uber's been forced out of them, and they think they're not having this this ground for free. But after a little bit of pressure, they realise that the damage isn't quite going their way, and they're backing off to last.
I was going to say, Ascent actually had time to, you know, just push no Ubers, but it just seems... Not really any of these teams are really ever keen on pushing, you know, on... You know, in these no Uber situations, just... It'd be really good because it'd just catch, you know, either team off guard. But looks like they're just once again opting for this standard sniper pick play and then push with the player advantage. Very, very Banny-esque. Waiting for that pick. Waiting for any little advantage you can get.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're actually pushing the pocket forward here as well. Rando trying to really play aggressively with the sniper of Decimate on the left-hand side. And that could lead to a very close Uber trade if somebody pressures in too far here from the Yomis. Rando looking like he really wants the peak, and Marblr on top as well to try and deny anybody on that upper area. But at the moment, both teams just kind of feeling each other out. Oh, Marblr actually dropping there to the rockets of Rakuso, so they do have a pick to push in with. They also know that Decimate's running the sniper, and unless he can hit a really close range thing here, they just went for the counter sack. Free State, the scout running in. And things are going to be leveled out once more.
Yeah, it looks like they're still not pushing there. They're just waiting once again for that soldier to get there, and then they're going to see what they do. Once again, try and pick with this sniper. He's getting a lot of ground though, picking out on this left side so hard. And they're not punishing it. Yomi's just CJ getting absolutely destroyed. As they do pick up the sniper after all, but there's a lot of damage on either side. Looks like the first pop is Ascent, and Yomi's are just kiting back. Nice late pop by 404, but looks like Ascent are going to mostly be able to get out. No punishment by Yomis. It does give Ascent time to push in here, but just kind of peeking, not really deciding, as Rakuzo does draw the blood there, killing that scout. Just made Shrugger and Marblr all dying.
Oh, Marblr did so much damage though. Marblr did so much damage there to 404 and the scout, but there's nobody to follow it up, and he went so... I think he got 404 down to 1 HP. I'm not quite sure, but I think he went down to somewhere around there. He's so unlucky not to get that med frag.
So Yomis are still pushing in here, trying to get some pressure on this point. I really like this. There's a lot of damage coming on, but Decimate trying to get the flank on the soldier does successfully take him. And Ascent actually have a decent Uber advantage, about 25%, but they're going to finally push in through this left side. They're getting in on this last point. A lot of ground taken by them. Yomi's not really going to have to do much here, taking a lot of damage, but actually delivering a lot of damage to Ascent too, as Uber still hasn't been popped yet by the Fragile. He's just not wanting to pop the last second. 404 might get his Uber up soon, but Decimate trying to trace him, making sure that doesn't happen. CJ gets taken down. The body's on the point right now, but Rakuzo makes quick work of that. Does get taken down in return. Unfortunately, 404 does not get his Uber, but Free State and Ringo trying to clean this up. It is a demo and scout, so decent duel for Ringo if he plays this right, but he's just got to stand on the point. Unfortunately, does get launched off, and that is 3-2 now in favor of Ascent.
Yeah, 3-2 the first half, and Ascent came back strong there. I think that was a little bit of a story of the mid-fights as well. I think I'm right in saying that Ascent started off a little poorly on the mids and then went, or at least it seemed like it, they really started to step things up, and they were able to push forward and make things happen off the back of a fairly conclusive mid-fight. But I'm more worried about Jeremy, to be honest. The way that he seems to be getting picked off in the mid to late game mids, he has a fairly good initial damage and puts a bit of an impact on the mid fight, but he's then dropping off a little bit and seems to be disconnected from the scouts and the people who should be defending him. Maybe that's not his fault. Maybe it's more of a team.
Yeah, I felt that the fire that we were getting from Yomies is starting to fall off. You know, in that latter part of that half, just I don't know, not a lot of coordination all of a sudden, which they were showing earlier, with a lot of their, just their general aggression, especially on these mids. I don't think, have they won any of the rollouts? I don't believe Yomies have won any of the rollouts. I think they've lost almost every rollout, correct me if I'm wrong. But they've, just made up for it by defending last really well, or like fighting off last really well, and just, pushing back the other team to last point, and then winning the round off that.
Yeah, there's definitely potential here for Yomies to turn this around and start taking some rounds in the second half, but Ascent are looking strong, and they've come back from this 2-round deficit, and they will not be wanting to drop any more rounds, I am quite sure. Who's the player to watch as we move into this second half then, Yuki? Who have you been enjoying?
Oh, I've been just looking around a bit, but gonna look to Rakuzo mostly, I think, to open up things for his team, followed by CJ. So I guess, any one of those two, just try and see if they can develop a bit more coordination on these mids, because it seems their aggression isn't exactly timed very well, especially with the rest of their team. If they nail that down in the second half, then they should have some more successful mids.
Yeah, we will be going live fairly soon, and after this, it's a Yomies double header tonight. No matter what the result is on Granary here, the next map, or the next game, in fact, that we will be going to is going to be Yomies against Street Hoops. The Street Hoops currently playing against the Grime as well, so we'll see if after this map we can keep you updated on how that one went. I think 20B definitely the favourites for that one, and then it'll be an incredibly close game against Yomies, and I'm impressed with how we've been seeing them play against Ascent here, because Ascent, of course, pegged to be one of the best teams this season, the Froyo Slayers, and if they can do well against Froyo and Yomies can do well against them, well, Yomies just need to step their game up at the right times. We've gone live for the second half though, Yuki.
We're going to see what Rakuzo does in this rollout. Hopefully, he can, as I said, open things up for his team. He's opting for the lower right looks of things. I wonder if he's going to, just do the deep right jump or jump the crate. He's opting for that deep right jump. Jumping on the meta, getting some solid damage on him, getting so much damage on these players, forcing them back, and his team is able to follow up, but they're just getting picked off. Podolski wins the 1v1 against Jeremy. Shrugger taking down CJ. Free State dying as well. Ringo does get a nice return kill on Mela, but looks like at least Yomi's medic does successfully get out, so they're slightly better from the other rollouts, but just not quite able to clinch it.
Yeah, they weren't able to deal with the aggression from Mela and somebody else. I think there was another player from Ascent that went aggressive right at the beginning, but the players from Yomi just not able to clean up, and 4-4 and was it Ringo at the end of that fight? Were just pressured back into their corner and not able to work on the damage that Rakuzo and CJ had done, because they did a phenomenal job pinning them back in that corner. Just once again, they can't deliver just the finishing blow.
Here we go, looks like Yumi's coming in here with this Uber advantage. Mela tries for the force, but not getting any damage off whatsoever, and no follow-up to try and help him. It's just the solo Roma bomb, so Ascent are going to back out here, but Yumi's look like they still want to peek in here, just getting shoved out by Shrugger, I should say, a little bit. But they are pushing through this garage. That Uber is coming up on the fragile, though, almost 100%. Uber is popped. They're going to try and get some work done on Yumi's, but the countered pop does come in. Rakuzo, Jeremy, and CJ all dying at the same time. Yomis do cap the mid, but they lose their medic as well. 4 players down. No players dying for Ascent whatsoever. Full wave of respawns, and just absolutely disastrous Uber push by Yomis. They just thought they had more Uber advantage than they did, I suppose.
Yeah, that was almost a carbon copy of the same situation they had last time, where they tried to push in with a bit too much of a sliver of an Uber advantage, and then they have a choice. Do they hold mid and try and just secure the capture and then wait for the Ascent repush, or do they really try and deliver that Uber all the way through mid into yard and try and get some frags with it? They've gone for the second option both times, but it hasn't worked out for them.
Podolski with the middle finger there, just sticky jumping to the forward spawn and taking down Jeremy, just absolutely denying Yomi's any chance of capturing that second point. And seems Ascent are going to have about a 30% Uber advantage. Pretty solid pushing to last, but Marblr does get picked, so that's actually a really good pick for Yomies. Just, you know, one less player to push in. I wonder if Ascent are actually going to try and take this still, because, you know, despite having an Uber advantage, if you're down a man, it's, you know, nowhere near as strong.
Yeah, Marblr does get a very close spawn though. Rakusa doing a great job of trying to pen people in, and he's forced the Uber really early here. He's allowed the rest of his team a ton of time, and Forafos is going to get his Uber charge up. Shrugger's gone behind. Free State's on him, and the rest of Yomi's looking forward to try and pen these players in and make sure that they can attack them in the choke point. Rakusa's about to spawn as well and get back into this fight as Ascent come back in. Rando so weak here, and it's not looking good here for the rest of Ascent. 4-4 on so little health, but everything is going the way of Yomi's here, and this is another great Granary last defense.
It's just such a solid point for scouts to, you know, do work on, and Yomi's scouts just showed that they were playing, you know, I reckon they're playing superior this match, to be honest. Just they were able to, you know, shut down that scout that went behind them while the rest of the team focused on the other team, and then they single-handedly killed the other team's 2 scouts, you know, just together, just in that 2v2. But Shrugger taking down Rakusa on the flank. Nice pick there. Yomies do have their Uber advantage, but they are 2 men down, and when Ascent get their spawns in, they're going to have, you know, 6 players on mid, so it's going to be a bit of a risky push for Yomies.
Marblr's behind, and he's going to be able to get onto 4-4 there. 4-4 is forced to pop it off. The decision is taken out of their hands by an aggressive Marblr, and they've got to make this Uber charge go forward here. Badonsky just punishing them as they try and come through that choke point. Rando jumping up on the crate as well to add some further area denial, and there's a sweet double donk there to deny the pocket. CJ is going to get whisked away to the spawn queue. 12-second spawns on him and Ringo, so there's no chance that Yomies are going to be able to put up steep defense on second here, and the Uber charge advantage firmly in favor of Ascent and Fragile. They don't want to be bleeding players now though, because they have 10 seconds in which to gather their buffs and start pushing and get onto 4-4 before he has his Uber up. They've got to be aggressive here with this, because this is the opportunity that they need to push into last.
Seems they really like this top push with Uber advantage. It's very common with them, and looks like a lot of damage getting forced on them there as the Uber does come out there, and the double donk's coming in. Yomi's players are very weak, both soldiers. One of them actually went to a resupply successfully. Yomis, though, do have their Uber, and no blood spilled by Ascent. Actually, Decimate is the first one to die, and only one to die in that fight, so bit of a watch push there as Badonsky giving the middle finger with that nice double donk, but Rando does get taken down, trying to go for some ammo. Looks like Badonsky's still peeking though, but meanwhile Marblr does trade with Rakusa on the flank, but Uber advantage still in favor of Yomi. Strogo getting caught out, maybe does get away with 21 health, but Yomis do have this Uber advantage. I wonder if they're going to try and just use it just to push mid, but I don't think they want to be popping it here 4v4 fight with these spawns coming out for Ascent with these 4 spawns.
If they can get the frag onto Badonsky though, and CJ hits a sick air shot on a Badonsky that's trying to escape, and they get the frag onto that the demo man of Ascent there, they're going to be able to pick up mid, and they're not going to be pushing forward, overextending like they have done with some previous ones, so they're just going to sit and wait for the Uber to come in from Ascent. This is a situation where the Yomis can really abuse the geometry of the map. Such tight choke points. If they can get this force out of the Fragile and then evaporate and possibly repush the contest, then it could be decent for them. It just depends how this Uber goes. Marblr leading it in with Rando, and they've got the room. They've somehow made so much room here. Yomi's forced all the way back into a corner. 4-4 goes down. This is looking disastrous for Yomis.
They get so many picks on all the heavy classes. Two players alive are Shrugger, Badonsky, and Fragile respectively. Free State topping around, just buying some time for his team, and I don't think Ascent actually going to be able to properly cap this point. They do have 5 times cap on right now, but these Yomi respawns are coming in momentarily. Free State is behind right now, being a pest, probably going to try and coordinate some flank with his team momentarily, as it looks like Yomi's right now are just content to just actually stay in this yard, but Free State is stuck behind, so if they want to keep him active in the next couple of seconds, they need to be thinking of some retake into mid.
And that's what they're doing. They look like they're coming in from the top. A super high jump coming out. Rakusa and CJ's in as well. Free State has come behind, picked out Marblr, and now the collapse is coming in onto the Ascent player. Shrugger's coming in from behind though. He wants to get onto 4-4. He's going to link up with Rando, and they are going to be able to take down the Yomi's medic. They're going to give all of their lives for it though, and Badonsky, the last player alive, only on 40 health, trying to get back to the second point. But Rakusa's going to meet him on this health pack. Who's going to get the better of who here? I'm not sure. Oh, Badonsky, nice little play there to avoid getting fragged, and picking up the frag in return actually, so decent play by him, and Fragile gets a slightly earlier spawn. I'm not sure whether they are even able to get this point. This might be a bit of an overextension here from Jeremy and Free State. The demo man from Yomies going down, and they're not going to be able to pick this up. There's a possibility for a back cap here, though. Free State hanging around.
Oh, Free State just reading the situation so well. No Ascent players around whatsoever. He's going to go the back cap. He's going to be able to get last by himself. What a... Wow, what a bit of a blunder by Ascent. Just looks like they just didn't read that Scout was going to be behind, and that's going to be an easy backup for last. Bring us to 3-all. That's going to, maybe put Ascent on the, that morale train a little bit, as, whenever you get backup, you're just like, desk bang, you're just like, God damn, we got backup, boys. We knew that guy was up. We got backup. Sad.
Yeah, they knew that Free State was up. They knew that he was in a position to back up, and they knew that the point was whiskers away from being in a back capable position. So they only really had themselves to blame. But it was a smart play coming out of Free State. Go for that. Anyway, on to this. The fifth mid, Mailer's going to be bombing really deep down that side, and CJ takes a rocket to the face. This is a bomb out. Rakusa to take down the Fragile really early on. The health advantage in favor of Yomies, but they lose so many players in the counter aggression. Just Ascent really bossing them in these raw DM fights.
I was gonna say, I think I've seen this movie before, but clearly someone changed the script, as for once, even when Yomies lose the rollout, they actually lose their medic this time. So it's a very late medic death as well. I wonder if Fragile's gonna be rocking the crits. No, he's gonna be opting for the safe play, building up that Uber. I wonder if these respawns, Yomies actually peak this, because Ascent actually have not really much business being here, as they only have 3 players here, and Yomies have full respawns, but Yomies not really, capitalizing on that, especially with Fragile not being there. He's just, all the way on this midpoint, I think, just slowly walking towards the last, building his Uber. With that 70% going on 40% Uber advantage now, it's going to be a pretty sizable advantage for his team pushing into this last point.
Yeah, I wonder where they're going to commit from, though, because they've sent people through top before. Like you said, they seem to be favouring it, but Jeremy's got the lockdown on that with the loose cannon that he seems to be favouring, and he is running it at the moment. He can just put down such a lot of spam in that area and so much knockback. Rando gets dropped, but there goes 404. No risk of an Uber charge coming out here from the Yomies. They're just going to have to boss this with the heals that they've got at the moment. They need to be trying to go aggressive on the players of Ascent, but it's only 2 players really healthily left alive here from Yomies. Ringo's going to go back into the spawn, but they're making this work. Badonsky, the only player forward with heals. If they can pick off him and the Fragile quickly before Mailer and Rando get in, then they're in a brilliant position. They got spawns from Jeremy and Rakusa in 2 seconds as well. They've managed to hold this off. What a defense again. Yomi's doing this so well.
Once again, that scout show for Yomies, I'm telling you, it just seems to be paying off dividends for them on the last points. Unfortunately, it's not working so well for them in mids, as there is 20% Uber advantage for Yomies. Not exactly anything that sizable to use, as both teams just running normal classes. I wonder if Yomies will try and do this, because being stuck on your last point is a bit of a bummer, and just sooner or later the other team can break you, even if you defend so well.
Absolutely. When you have an opportunity to push, I think you have to take it. But in the situation that they're in at the moment, the beginning of the second half, they're 1-0 up, and oh no, they're going for it. Never mind what I'm talking about. Free State the first casualty though, which doesn't lead to a great Uber, and the Fragile is about to get his up as well. I don't even know whether they're going to be able to get this point. They're just putting their tiptoes on it, and they're going to be able to pick it up. CJ and Ringo go down to the counter Uber though, and here comes Ascent. They're going to be able to pick this cap up. No problemo, and they're going to be streaming all the way to last. Sugar already on the point here, and that just did not go well for Yomies. I was going to say that I didn't think they really had enough there to push out with, but if they had got a nice Uber, if there had been players from Ascent a little too far forwards, then it could have gone completely the other way for Yomies there. That might have been a brilliant play. Just Ascent playing passive, making sure that they weren't giving away free frags, and in the end they make it work. The score 4-3 in favour of Ascent.
Yomies just tried to Uber too many people through one choke, and as a result, Badonsky got that pick. And once you're down that one player, even though you have the Uber advantage, you're not really having that much chase about. And Jeremy once again getting bested by Badonsky with the double donk. But there is some really good positioning by Yomies. They do take on the Fragile, and they're just really aggressive still right now. Rakusa living for days. Ringo also getting killed Badonsky, so it is 2 players for 3 now. And Ascent once again do win the mid, but they lost their medic. So very similar film to what I was saying, as I said earlier. This time they do get their medic out. Mailer peeking into this yard. I wonder if we're going to see he's going to get any positioning for his team. But he's just going to have a little peek. Nothing else really exciting, as That stable Uber advantage, I should say, for the Yomies, coming up on about 60% now. Meanwhile, Fragile on 25%. Yomi's probably going to be looking to push mid momentarily with this sizable Uber advantage.
Absolutely. The last time they took it through Ramproom, though, they got stunted. Their push did not work even slightly, so they're going to take it through this left-hand side, the choke point here. Decimate munching on a big rocket, and they're going to be coming forwards. They haven't been popped, they just do now. They're going to pick up the frag on Decimate, surely 2 HP, he does go down. And they're going to be taking the Uber forward as well. This is this overextension that they're a little prone to, Yomies, it seems, but no, only taking it into Ramproom, a bit more controlled and disciplined with it this time. They're just going to have to wait for the Ascent Uber to come back in onto them. The loose cannon being run by Badonkadonksky, as well as he is going to try and hit some mad double donks onto people. But the onus here on Ascent as they move in through the choke point, going to try and do a mirror image of the push that Yomies just did and see if they can execute it a little better.
Yeah, it seems the spam coming out a bit late for Yomies as Uber does get popped though by Fragile. Though they do get 2 picks on the soldiers, so very good picks there. Though that Uber advantage is coming out for Yomi soon, and Rando getting caught out trying to catch out that Demo Man does get taken down. So actually, you know, pretty sizable trade for Yomis. They're pretty happy with giving up that midpoint and getting that Uber out of Ascent, and they're going to keep their Demo Man alive as that Uber advantage is coming up momentarily. Unfortunately, their soldiers both get shoved back to the last point spawn, not getting that forward spawn. They are still looking to push in here with this scout.
Yeah, they're going for it. Ringo's leading this forward. Mailer's got onto Jeremy though, and Jeremy just seems to be disconnected in all of these pushes. This is not going well here for Yomis. They need players in the fight straight away. Rakuso and CJ about to come in, but they're just going to try and get the rest of the Yomis players out. They're not coming into this fight here on mid whatsoever. Ascent going to be able to defend this mid with not even a whisper, and going to move forward with this Uber charge as well. I think they're going to be able to get second for free here, but Yomis really need to try and put some hurt onto Fragile. Rakuso's coming in from Z. He's in a perfect position to get onto him, and there we go, the pop coming out of Fragile. Again, a bit of a weak pop. They could probably have managed that. Rando could have tanked the damage, but they're going to be able to move the Uber charge in from that right-hand side. Rando jumping so far forwards. Oh, 404 survives.
Yeah, a bit of an overextension there by Rando. He just wants to try and close out this match, but it's not going to happen like that when you make sloppy plays. Mailer trying to follow up as well with a bit of a Lemmings play, so Uber advantage now, sizable advantage for Yomis. They're going to be pushing in here momentarily. So there's 2 soldiers down. There's going to be no spam coming in apart from the Demo Man. And Soldier actually jumps in on him, but the scout with the flank does force that pop. And not really any noticeable picks for Ascent right now. As they actually do take down the Fragile and Shrugger.
Oh, the back
Soldier in through Z and the back cap. Oh,
good night.
That's giving Yomis a taste of their own medicine with that backup. Just solid read of the situation there, and that brings us to the match end 5-3 in favor of Ascent.
Yeah, 5-3, but it was so close. It could have gone either way. That was a really good showing by Yomis, I think, and they just managed to clinch it there at the very end with a really close second half, ending in a back cap. I was really impressed with the scouts from Yomis as well. I feel like they possibly outshone the ones from Ascent.
Yeah, I feel Yomis overall as a whole just need to look over their mids a bit. I think their Demo Man just got owned every mid. I'm not sure if he was, you know, too slow or if he just wasn't spamming the right people, but I'm pretty sure they lost every mid. Correct me if I'm wrong. And there were what, you know, nine mids in that whole match. So not exactly pretty for them.
Do you know how I could answer you? I could answer you if I had logs. However, I have no idea how ESEA works. So I don't know if we have logs. Are they on the match page or something? I don't know what's going on here.
Look, there's someone stream. There we go.
Oh, lovely guy. I still can't see them though. You take us through the logs, Yuki. You take us through the logs.
Oh man, I have to do all the talking. So as usual, looks like Podolski just putting the team on his back, doing, you know, almost 300 damage a minute. Considering it was, you know, it had its fair share of stalemates that game. Other things to note: CJ leading the damage on his team, and the scouts are all actually quite even. You know, especially on damage a minute. Though Shrugger just, you know, the mop master, 36 kills, just, you know, just 10 damage shots across the map, just mopping up.
Only 6 deaths really on Badonsky. Look at that. Am I reading that right? 6 deaths on Badonsky. That's ridiculous.
Oh, you actually are reading it right. So yeah, that just goes to show, you know, you keep your Demo Man alive a lot. He's able to, you know, dish out that damage. And, you know, he took pretty much the average number of heals for a Demo Man in, you know, that game of that duration, maybe slightly less than what some are used to, about 2,000. Jeremy receiving close to the same, but just, not getting the same amount of damage out with 21 deaths to his name. Not exactly, the kind of stats you want to have. So maybe that was, I guess, the slightly weaker point for Yomi's rollouts. Just as he got bested every rollout, I think. Let's be honest. I think in like 4 rollouts he ate a cannonball to the face, and in almost every one of those rollouts as well, the scouts were just constantly pistoling him. At one point, I just saw him drop to 10 health, and pulling at my collar here, just going, ooh, I think he's gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely. He was getting bossed around a little bit by Badonsky, but Badonsky was having a blinder of a game as well. He was his area denial, as well as just being able to pick off the little 1v1s that he was in as well, just to keep himself alive, were phenomenal. He's an excellent player. But then we're going to be watching Yomies. They're going to be taking on Showstopper and the crew of Street Hoops Esports on Badlands this time rather than Granary. That's the next matchup that we're going to be going into. What do you think? What do you think Yomies need to do, or what do they need to carry on doing in order to have a good showing?
I think just what they were doing in the the first bit of the first half, just their coordinated aggression, just seemed really on point. Coordinating their things at the same time. Soldier would jump in, and the other one would follow in soon after. Then the rest of the people would just push across whatever point it'd be it mid, second, last. They'd just be grouped as like a tight little unit. Then towards the later part of the match, just seemed a lot not really coordinated, just disjointed, I guess you could say. So they just need to focus on their communication and teamwork, and they're sure to have a good game next game. 3-5. The second team in North America at the moment is, not a score to sneeze at. It's a solid performance out of them.
It absolutely is, and that's what we'll be going to in just a moment. I think we're going to go to a short break while we figure out how long it's going to be before we launch into this next game. That's Street Hoops versus Yomies on Badlands. Same casters, same place, and we'll be back in a moment.